Shalom. Welcome. This is Man's Final Steps, a continuing series to those who will be among the ranks of the 144,000 in multitude mentioned in Revelation 7 and 14th chapter. Today is January 28th. My name is Symmanayah, and in this segment, it is entitled You, Yes You, Life or Death. This segment has been broken up into a multi-part message, and this is part 5 of the segment entitled You, Yes You, Life or Death. My brothers and sisters, yes, due to the length of this specific segment, I have broken it down into parts, or organized it and structured it in parts. We are now entering into part 5. If you're tuning in for the first time, I strongly recommend you consider beginning with part 1 in order to get the full sequence of this message. Part 5, I mentioned in part 4 what's expected to come, what to expect in the coming days. And so part 5 continues with more to come. Unity versus entitlement. If you're tuning in for the first time, please consider starting with part 1 of You, Yes You, Life or Death. If you've been following along, I salute your patience and your endurance. Man's final steps. These are indeed the end days, end times, the last days. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, what I have begun to witness and have witnessed over the past several years, and I'm quite sure it's been going on much longer, is that there are many individuals who are coming into the light and discovering their true heritage. Those who are from the ranks of the 12 tribes of Yasharal, commonly known as Israel. Those who have fallen short and have demonstrated a sense of entitlement have emerged. There are some who are discovering the truth. There are many among us who are discovering the truth for the purpose of understanding what must be done and what is to be fulfilled, to grow into unity and righteousness. But there are those who come to know that they are descendants from Yasharal, Hebrews or Abari, and have demonstrated a sense of entitlement. I submit to you, although we found favor and mercy and was the first chosen of the Most High Father Yahuwah as the first group to participate in his plan, it does not make us better or more superior than Goyim or Gentiles or other nations. We were merely the first chosen people to participate in the plan of salvation, a plan that began since the fall of man in the garden. I am not making light of such an honor, but for some reason those who discover that they are indeed descendants of Yasharal have stepped beyond the boundaries of righteousness when they throw a sense of entitlement at Goyims, Gentiles, and other nations. Allow me to say, all men, women, and children who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father represent a group that has been made one by Yahushua HaMashiach, our Messiah. All those who seek to do the will of the Almighty One, we are made one by Yahushua. We are under the banner of Yasharal, both Hebrew and Goyim, grafted together as one under the banner of Yasharal, commonly known as Israel. Yes, this body of one has many members, and believe it or not, these members are diverse. Many have failed to realize that there's a division, a battle among us. There's a division, meaning that there are those who think that they are entitled and just emanate or demonstrate that they are indeed true Yasharal, but have no intentions of really worshiping and obeying. They are being deceived and delusional and echoing a sense of entitlement. But there are also those who understand the unity in life that is made possible by Yahushua HaMashiach. There are those who are gathered and are coming into knowledge, who are discovering the ranks of their bloodline. But, as I said, among many are those who have no intentions of worshiping and obeying. They project and promote a sense of entitlement. But there are those of us among the ranks of the bloodline who seek to worship and obey the Almighty Father. And we have come to understand that Goyim, Gentiles, other nations, are grafted in by the salvation made possible by Yahushua Mashiach. We understand the refining process, what is occurring that will bring unity among all men who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father. Consider these verses and pray that they come alive. Romans 9:6-8 reads, "However, it is not as though the word of Elohim has failed, for they are not all Yasharal who are of Yasharal." Letting you know that true Yasharal, our family, those who are brothers and sisters, are those who accept Yahuwah as Almighty Father and accept Yahushua as our Mashiach. Those who understand we are all who seek to do the will of the Father, grafted into one body under the banner of Yasharal. Let me read on. Romans 9:7-8 says, "Neither are they all children because they are the seed of Abraham, but in Isaac or Isaac your seed shall be called. That is, those who are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of Elohim, but the children of the promise are reckoned as the seed of Abraham." Also consider this passage. Colossians 3:9-11 reads, "Do not lie to each other, since you have put off the old man with his practices, and have put on a new one, who is renewed in knowledge according to the likeness of him who created him. Where there is not Greek and Yehudite, circumcised, uncircumcised, foreigner, Scythian, slave, free, but Messiah in all, is all, and in all." This is referring to how Yahushua has made us all one. Some people have taken this passage of scripture when it says it's neither Greek nor Yehudite, circumcised, uncircumcised. Some people have taken this to try to dismiss that Abri or Hebrew will discover their true heritage. Some people are trying to say that it's not important to know our race, our true heritage, our true culture. This is erroneous and wicked. In order for scriptures to be made whole and come to be, there are those of us who will be awakened, our eyes will be opened, who seek to worship the Almighty Father, who will know and identify which tribe we are from, which tribe we are to represent. Keep in mind that there are scriptures that speak on the 12 tribes coming together as 144,000. But there's also scripture that speak of a great multitude of people from many nations, kindreds, and tongues, whose robes are also washed in the blood of the Lamb and made white. Keep in mind, as we enter into these last days, there will be the gathering of the 144,000. This group will represent 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Yasharal. So in order for this to come to be, we must witness individuals representing the tribes who have been guided, who have been awakened, who have been chosen by the Most High to represent their prospective tribe. We must come to know that scriptures will indeed be fulfilled. Keep also in mind, as I mentioned before, scriptures foretell of a multitude from every nation, kindred, and tongue that will also participate in this great gathering, who will also have their robes washed, as I mentioned. You see, end times are here, and all the false teachings and all that was done to try to hide what is righteous will come to be laid waste. Righteousness and truth, orders from above, his words will be fulfilled. Orders from above will be adhered to, and we will discover a group that will be described as the children of obedience. We will witness unity, magnified, and this sense of entitlement, as I mentioned, will become laid waste. As you pray and reflect on these words that I just mentioned, allow me to add some more. Genesis 17:7 says, "I shall establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you and their generation for an everlasting covenant, to be Elohim to you and your seed after you." Many people think it's just about the DNA and sperm. It's beyond that. Abraham had the seed of righteousness to obey and worship the Almighty Father. There is something beyond just the flesh. That is the spirit of obedience, the spirit of worship to the true Almighty One. Matthew 15:24 reads, "And he answered, said, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal." Keep in mind, the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. This also includes those who are grafted in and made one. This also includes those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father. Pray that you're able to understand the meaning, the true meaning and life in this passage. Matthew 18:11 said, "For the Son of Adam has come to save what was lost." Matthew 10:32 reads, "Everyone therefore who shall confess," it say everyone, not just Abari, not just Hebrew, "everyone therefore who shall confess me before men, him I shall also confess before my Father who is in the heavens." Matthew 12:50 reads, "For whoever does the desire of my Father," whoever does the desire of my Father, it didn't just say Abri or just Hebrew. Whoever does the will of my Father who is in the heavens is my brother and sister and my mother. Yes, my brothers and sisters, there was a time when Yasharal was scattered as a result of wickedness and disobedience. And we see that in Deuteronomy 28:64, which reads, And Yahuwah shall scatter you among all peoples from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other mighty ones which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. You see, it did not say Yasharal was annihilated and it don't exist anymore, as some wicked individuals and wicked and erroneous teachings will have you to believe. It doesn't say that we will never know who we are. It does not say that in scriptures. And yes, man will try to bring in flesh and DNA and all this type of stuff and say we mix so nobody know who's who. While many of us might not know what tribe we are from, that does not mean that the Almighty Father does not know which tribe we belong. There is an Almighty One who will make clear those that are his, and as well as the identity of the different nations that are brought together representing Yasharal, as well as those gathered and engrafted into one represent a nation under the banner of Yasharal. Pray for understanding. Isaiah 11:12 states, "And he shall raise a banner for the nation and gather the outcasts of Yasharal and assemble the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth." You see, that which was scattered is brought into restoration, all made possible by Yahushua. Jeremiah 23:3 also foretells of the time, and it reads as follows, "Therefore I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the lands where I have driven them, and shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear an increase." Revelation 7:4 said, "And I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 sealed out of all the tribes of the children of Yasharal." You see, identity will come to be known and will participate in the fulfillment of Scripture. Revelation 7:9 says, "After this I looked, and I saw a great multitude, a great crowd, which no one was able to count, out of all nations and tribes and peoples and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, dressed in white robes and palm branches in their hands." I'm going to drop down to Revelation 7:14, and he said, "And I said to him, Master, you know?" And he said to me, "These are those coming out of the great distress or tribulation to some, having washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb." So you see, my brothers and sisters, this sense of entitlement will end. It will be laid waste. There will be unity, and it will be demonstrated in the fullness as guided by the Spirit of Yahushua, as made possible by those whom he has chosen to lead in such an assembly, in such a structuring. We will witness unity. Yes, from the time of Abraham, Hebrews and Abari were scattered, and we read that in Deuteronomy 28:64. But I submit to you, through Yahushua HaMashiach, we will be gathered and restored and brought together in unity. Yahushua, Yahuwah's word made flesh. Yahushua, he that was sacrificed and resurrected to the right hand of the Almighty Father. Yahuwah. Yes, we have come to realize that unity will be among the children of obedience. We will see this sense of entitlement laid waste, and we will witness a refined group who will fit the description of the 144,000 in multitude as mentioned in scriptures. Many surprises are in store for those who will participate in the ranks of the children of the obedience. Unity versus entitlement. Yes, we will come to know the difference as we are refined and brought together. This concludes part 5 of this multi-part message entitled You, Yes You, Life or Death. We are facing life or death decisions, my brothers and sisters. Pray and watch. A gathering more diverse than most of us can imagine will soon emerge, all with one goal: to worship and obey the Almighty Father Yahuwah and accept His word manifest in the flesh, Yahusha, the sacrifice one, and He who ascended from the grave, our Mashiach, our Messiah. Pray and watch as these events come to be. Stay tuned as we move forward to the next portion of this multi-part message, entitled You, Yes You, Life or Death. Stay tuned as we move to part 6. Shalom, shalom, shalom.